Hello, Super Awesome Stampers. This is Super Awesome Stamper Shirley Marker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wisconsin, USA. Thanks for joining us for our March and April Cards with Creativity online retreat, where you can meet us in the Zoom calls or craft along with us on our YouTube videos. So this is my first project for my presentation. It features the Pretty Prints Designer Series paper. This pretty print is already printed on there. Blackberry Bliss cardstock. And my presentations will center around the Queen Bee stamp set and coordinating dies. So this is a bundle. So that means that if you purchase using the bundle item number, you get 10% off each individual price. So let's get started. Like I said, my base is Blackberry Bliss, and I've got my supplies right here all stacked up. And my first thing that I do is I work with the inside piece. So I need to do some stamping before I attach that. Blackberry Bliss ink pad is what I'm using. And my base in the inside is usually 1/6 of an 8.5 by 11 piece of basic white cardstock. So for you that are working in the metric, the measurements would be about 9.9 by 10.5 centimeters. But for the imperial, it's about 3 3/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So if you cut your piece of paper into 6 equal pieces, you don't have any waste. I'll get that out of the way there. And I'm all for not adding to my scrap pile. All right, so inside we've got the crown and the smaller flower. And you can see that I re-inked my ink pad and let it sit overnight. You can see the difference between the two densities are dark tones. So definitely re-ink your ink pad if you need it. You can definitely tell when that happens. Okay, so that's going to be the inside piece. I am going to attach that down. I'm a big fan of attaching pieces as I create them. And when I cut down all my samples, I've got a lot of scraps. So this was just a piece of scrap. You can see that this has got this kind of open flower look on one side. The other side was more of a scrapbook layout, I think is what I'm remembering. The bottom part of the paper had the floral, on the top was more of a open look. So I'm going to have this piece up again. Again, this was just my scrap, but I'm pretty sure it measures 3 3/4 by 3/4 inches. So for the metric, it would be about 1.8, 0.9, or just whatever scrap that you create when you cut down your cardstock works. All right, my next layer on the outside is going to be this mint macaron. And I chose the standard layers for my card. So by standard, it's 1/4 inch step down from the base. So it's 4 by 5 1/4 inches. Since this is the anchor for all of the card front layers, I'm going to put 3 swipes of the taper. Ooh, and I know I don't have this quite right. Just eyeballing it, centering it on there. And then the pretty print. See, you can see this open kind of puff ball, like dandelion puffs on one side. I like this for the bottom. So the further you go up on that pattern paper, it was more of an open, it wasn't printed. It's more for a scrapbook. I think I'm gonna have to squirrel one of those pages away, or 2 of them, for my scrapbook, because Blackberry Bliss is a favorite color of mine. So this layer is just another 1/4 inch down, or 1/2 centimeter down. So if I can be remembering right, that would be 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches, or 9.5 by 13.9 centimeters. Okay, next layer is going to be our linen specialty paper. This has got adhesive on one side, so you need to tear that off. And this measures 1 3/4 by 4 1/4 inches. I just did a layer up from that mint macaron that we're going to stamp on. So just peel it off. This is more of an organic looking paper. Probably not going to get quite straight on there. The edges aren't cut cleanly either, like a cardstock would be. Kind of like that. There. Okay. Next is this. Now I can see it's not even straight on there. Let's see if I can pull that up. Yep, I can pull it up. Part of that is because I'm trying to attach this from the side. So if you're using the linen specialty paper, make sure you get right over it. And it could not be, it maybe not be cut quite right there. That was a little better for me. Okay, now is the mint macaron. We're going to do some stamping on that. The big floral sprig. Got it on my big block. Is this the, I'm going to say this is the E block. Like that. And this measures 1.5 by 4 1/4 inches or 3.9 by 10.8 centimeters. Fits perfectly. Okay, that's gonna be right there. And before I let go of that block, I wanted to stamp my envelope. Envelope stamping is something that's just so impressive, especially if you've got an impressive stamp, a large stamp. There. Okay. Oh, no, I apologize. My chair is squeaking. I think I need to get some WD-40 on that. Just centering that on there. And then, before I did any die cutting, I had stamped this on the bottom. I like that card just like that for some simplicity's sake. This would actually be a great sympathy card, just like that. Maybe not with the flower and the queen bee crown on in the inside, maybe just the flower if it was going to be sympathy. I didn't stamp any sentiments because I didn't like any of the sentiments that were on here. Happy birthday I probably will use, but the queen and the beloved, I'm not sure. I would stamp those ahead of time because I'm not sure what I would be using this card for. Okay, so I think, oh, no, we got one more thing to stamp. I've got this little scrap here. This is where these little tiny stamps that you die cut out, this is where all your scraps are great to use because the bee will fit right on that. Not the best. Well, I have got one already die cut right there. So we're going to use that. Close this back up so I don't get ink on my sleeves. Pull this back in. Now, the dies that I used to create all these shapes would be the little bee, the little flower. Here's where using all those scraps work well. This one I wanted to point out that I did cut. Let me see here. Here we go. Here's my scrap. This pattern has all these little puff balls on it. Let me grab that right here to show you. So all these puff balls, I wanted the puff ball to be the center of my flower. So you can see you've got a lot of options here. You can do one over there, over there. So when you put it in your cutting machine, make sure you put it over the center of those puff balls, because then it actually looks more like a flower. And this die does do some impressions. Okay, just want to point that out. And then the little tiny honeycomb, of course we're going to use that. You just need another little scrap. Got the bee. This one also has little impressions as well. Okay, now I'm gonna grab my glue dots or your liquid glue. Put that over there. And then the inside. Now, after I threw away all my little hexagons, I decided to try to put some in the inside, kind of like that. This card, though, that we're going to do with you right now will not have the hexagons. Just use a tiny dab of green glue behind your hexagons if you're going to add them. Okay, and then glue dot for our bee. Now the bee's got a fun little flower on her back. And I can't decide. I kind of like the pearl in the center to accent. If you leave it no pearl though, you can kind of see the flower a little better. Oops. Oh, did I not get the, oh. That in the center. Put this up here. I think we're going to leave no pearl this time because I really like the flower. When you put the pearl over it, it kind of covers most of it up. All right, and then to add our honeycomb, just a little bit of green glue. Usually you just have to squeeze a little bit out, and then you can take it on the nozzle and put it in the other spots. That fills up the corner up there. So we got 3 little fun embellishments on the front. And that's it. Like I said, I think I would use this for a sympathy card. I really like that. All right, so that concludes my first demonstration for our Cards with Creativity online retreat for March 31st, April 1st, 2023. Look for my other video where I share my second project using the Queen Bee bundle. Hope you're having a great time with us in our Zoom calls or crafting along on our YouTube videos. We'll stamp with you soon. Bye.